Episode 6, Mass Disappearances.
Ooh.
I know, always creepy. Are we going to be talking about ghosts and demons snatching people?
Snatch.
So,
we're a true crime podcast.
What we call?
And some of this might be crime. I'll tell you in a minute. Some of this might be crime. It might not be, but fuck it. We thought it'd be interesting to talk about.
These, for anyone listening and going, oh, this is a true crime podcast, why are you talking about this? All of these, the theories behind what we're talking about, there are crimes related, so therefore, true crime, which might not be true.
Or crimes.
Or crimes.
Hello, welcome. I'm Chris.
I'm Christian.
This is Echo on, a true crime-ish podcast.
Right, so basically, yeah, we're with this, our little non-serial killer episode for this time is on mass disappearances.
Mass disappearance pick-a-mix.
Oh, a pick-a-mix. So what's the first one? Are we gonna go for the big one to start with that everyone knows of?
Let's start with a nautical. Let's start with your favourite thing, seamen.
Oh, I do love seamen.
The Mary Celeste.
Yes. And weird thing about Mary Celeste is at school, we were told about it, like the Mary Celeste in our history lessons. And back then, my recollection of what I was told back then was that it was a passenger liner and there was hundreds of people. And when they came on board and found the ship, the dining room had all the you can hear him drinking beer and just opening it, but all the tables and chairs were there and all the cutlery was out and food was on the table. It was old but nothing was amiss, and all the passengers' belongings were still there and nothing was missing apart from the people themselves. What it turns out is not as cool as that, and that might have been my teacher watching the film Ghost Ship and then thinking that was actually true.
Your teacher just watched the movie and went,
basically,
nah, right.
Also the Marie Celeste, there's a 1935 Bela Lugosi movie that I thought, that's where it's from. Then I watched it and went, no, it isn't. It's not, literally, I don't know where this dog shit came from. And yeah, the Marie Celeste, a crew of 10 people.
10 people?
10 people. You can't call that a mass disappearance.
Well, I mean, it's quite mass.
Well, I suppose you're a mass murderer if you kill more than 10 people. Well, more than 2 people. But yeah, so yeah, Marie Celeste. To give us some facts about it, Chris.
Well, in 1872, so Tuesday, November the 5th, 1872, it left Pier 50 on the East River in New York City, and it moved into the harbour, but the weather was terrible.
So, long time ago in America, boat left in a storm.
It did.
Okay.
Yep, and then it dropped anchor just off of Staten Island for a couple of days, and then November the 7th, it finally set sail to with its cargo of denatured alcohol, which is like methylated spirits.
And it was going to Italy.
Oh.
Italy? How far? I didn't actually look this up, but I just realised how long would it take to go from New York to Italy back then in a ship?
I don't know.
Like, because going from England to America in a ship took a month? Or was it longer than that?
Probably. Well, they found it.
They found it literally a month
later.
A month later, but then it was nowhere near Italy.
No.
It was near Gibraltar, wasn't it? It was the nearest place was Gibraltar for them to go to after finding the...
Yeah.
So that was... but yeah, so the another ship, the Dei Gratia? D-E-I?
Yeah, Del Gratia.
Del Gratia. Yeah, so they found them 400 miles east of the Azores. I don't know where the Azores are. Haven't got a clue. Never fucking heard of them until I just read it out then.
All right.
Not a clue.
Aren't they Portuguese? I think they're Portuguese.
Let's say they're Portuguese. All right, so it is
but
near
it's like,
Italy.
yeah, but I think it's...
But they found it...
more Africa way, but it's Portuguese.
Well, they found it 400 miles east of the Azores, but the ship had drifted 400 miles from where they thought...
Where it should have been.
Where it should have been. Which is quite a long way away for a ship to drift. So there must have been a lot of stormy seas out there. But yeah, so the Dei Gratia saw the ship, went on board. Now, the Dei Gratia left port 8 days after from the same port. Apparently, the captains knew each other. And then,
some people say they were like really close friends, but there's no evidence for that. But it's pretty much assumed that they would have at least been aware of each other because they were...
What's the likelihood? I mean, bear in mind that the people at seas, that was the only way of going internationally then.
Yeah.
What's the likelihood that you're going to go along and see a ship and you know that ship the other side of the world? Yeah. It's so infinitesimally small, that likelihood. So which feeds into the conspiracy theories later on. But yeah, they found it, went on board. The 10 people who were on board were gone.
It was completely deserted.
The lifeboat was gone. Well, one of the lifeboats were gone. I couldn't find out how many lifeboats it had. It said one of them were gone. It was like, oh, it's not a very big ship.
I thought there was only one lifeboat and that was gone. I don't know if there was another boat on it. But anyway, I've just written the lifeboat was gone.
But yeah, so the lifeboat was gone, which took that amount of people.
Yeah. The ship was generally in good condition for the most part. I think.
Did it just get refurbished because it did have it hit some rocks and?
Yeah, it had definitely just been refurbished before it went out, so it was in really good nick. I think some of the sails might have been a bit iffy, but it would have been if it's drifted for a while. They found the only things that they found kind of potentially, like that might have raised alarms a little bit was there was about 3.5 feet in the bilge, and the bilge of the ship is the bit that's at the bottom that's underwater.
Yeah.
So it's not unusual for to have been in there. And the bilge pump was disassembled, was taken apart.
Yeah. I mean, basically, we're talking about like there were 7 crewmen, and the captain, his wife, and the couple's 2-year-old daughter.
Yep.
It was a 282-ton ship. It wasn't like a tiny thing.
Pretty big.
It was pretty big. And the reports were that it battled heavy weather for 2 weeks before it supposedly whatever happened.
Aliens.
So there was a lot of. It wasn't having a good time.
No.
There was 3.5 or 2.5 feet of water. Do you say
3.5 feet?
3.5 feet of water, which is quite a lot of water. 1.1
meters.
You said not that much for a ship that size.
Yeah, what I read was that it was a significant amount, but not surprising, like not an unusual amount. They would just use the bilge pump and pumped it out, and it'd been fine.
And it's worth noting at this point that there's a salvage reward that is with boats back in the day. Then, if you found a ship that was lost at sea and you returned it to the people, you get a salvage reward, which is actually a percentage of the insurance money.
And it would normally be quite a large percentage as well. They would normally be a large amount, which is kind of relevant.
But the one of the theories about it was that the people that found them had something to do with it because they were doing a kind of a piracy, but by people who were in the same, who weren't pirates. So they were basically found the thing, and maybe they were involved in doing something to getting rid of the crew and then just taking the boat and claiming the salvage.
And I think from day one that was one of people thought that. I think they were kind of plagued with that.
Yeah, I mean, even the
look of guilt.
The movie that was made in 1935, that was the story behind that was it was a vengeful sailor who basically killed everyone and got rid of it.
I don't remember that film coming out, so I'm not sure.
In 1935, I was 10, so it was fine. But yeah, so it was a fucking terrible film. But it was and also Arthur Conan Doyle wrote a book about it where he made it a vengeful ex-slave. Which is completely patently ridiculous for what was actually he was on the board. Another one was they thought there was a rumor that the 2 German sailors, because they couldn't find any of their possessions on board the ship, that they must have had something to do with it going missing. Then it turned out that the 2 sailors had lost everything that they owned previously on a shipwreck. And then from that day on, always said we're going to take none of our possessions on a ship.
I didn't know that one. That's
that was quite a good one. That people were automatically went, well, there's no possessions. We're just going to assume they did it. It's like no, there's an explanation.
So didn't the De Gracia the crew took it? Didn't they? They took it to.
They took it to. I just said it a minute ago. Gibraltar. There we go. I only said Grenada for fuck's sake. No.
It's quite a long way away. Yeah, they took it to Gibraltar where there's like a maritime court or whatever, and what they do is they look at it and they look at the circumstances under which you took it back, and they say yay or nay. Yeah. And from day one they were suspicious of them. They were like, whoa, it seems too perfect. You found this ship. There's no one on it. It's in perfect condition.
The fact you know them is unlikely.
And then you've now brought it back to us.
Yeah.
They went through it all, I think, didn't they? They had like a court case effectively, and they went through.
Did. And they found out there was no
everything, and there was nothing they could prove.
No, and so they gave them a percentage.
Yeah,
of, I think,
and it was a surprisingly small percentage because I found this was kind of funny. They were like, "We don't entirely believe you, but we can't prove you wrong, so we'll give you some of the money." I found that really weird. We were like,
that to me is like when you someone's in court for murder, and they can't prove them on the murder, so they give them a higher sentence for something else they did.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like a kind of... That, to me, made me think that the people in the court believed they did do it, but they just couldn't prove it. And they were going, there's too much here that is... The one argument against them doing it is they left 8 days afterwards. They had no idea. There's no way they could have known that 400 miles away they were there.
Because they were, of course, anyway.
But then there's the additional theory of counter-argument was, well, if the captains did know each other, they could have been doing this together to split the... salvage money, because at the time you could disappear. If that captain wanted to retire, He could have just gone to another country, used a different name. It's not like they sit there and go, well, where's your references? And where's your fingerprints? You know, it's like you just say who you are. You know what you're doing. You're fine. You can get on with someone else.
So it feels like they gave them the minimum they could give them financially because they couldn't prove any different. But they didn't trust. They basically didn't believe them and they kept the rest of the money.
Then there's also the ridiculous theories. Aliens. Mm-hmm. Sea monsters is one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah, the sea monsters. Yeah, I love that.
Monsters.
Like, fucking Kraken came up and...
To be fair,
we should have been drinking Kraken while we did this bit.
I've got crack. No, I don't. Do I? No, I've got Malibu.
That's not the same.
But they've got like the whole thing of sea monsters. Like sea monsters, I give some credence to where they came from and people's presumption of sea monsters. Like giant squids do exist.
Yeah.
They're not known for us to come to the surface.
No.
But there's no reason why 100 years ago one aberration didn't do that to one person and that's where it propagated from. Or
they just found one once. It doesn't ever have to have had. For fuck's sake, I can't speak. They never.
Good for a podcast.
That's really good. They never need to have done anything ever. They just need to have seen one, and it's fucking scary.
I mean, fucking hell, it is. I mean, Then again, we don't. We live in a bit of a cushion society where we say if it isn't around now, it never happened. Like every single cave painting by every single culture has had some kind of dragon or dragon-ish creature drawn on the walls. There's a theory going, how could they all come up with the same kind of look for a creature if they didn't once exist?
I know.
And just because we don't have the bones doesn't disprove that they saw it.
Well, two things. You can't disprove anything. You can't prove the negative. You can only prove the positive. Also, Ancient Aliens.
Yeah.
I saw that guy on the History Channel, Ancient Aliens.
Yep. I mean, he looks like an ancient alien.
He does.
But this the whole thing of like the sea monsters thing, I completely understand why everyone would have gone to that.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you sit there and go, like the plane has gone missing. Where's it gone? Sea monsters. What? Air. All right, fair as sea monsters.
So let's go. This is theory number one: sea monsters. I saw a thing on the Sci-Fi Channel where a shark attacked a helicopter.
Yes, I've seen that film.
That was flying. It wasn't in the water. So I mean,
that's
that happened. I saw it on TV.
Sea monsters.
I saw it on the telly.
The Meg is real.
Yep.
But yeah, basically the reward they got was $46,000, which was only 1/6.
Yeah.
It wasn't. So it's 1/6 of what they were going to do. And bear in mind, if somebody gave me $46,000 now, I'd be so rich in my own mind. It would be amazing.
Yeah.
Back then, $46,000.
That is a shit ton of money.
And that's only a 6th.
1872.
But it's only a 6th. Mm-hmm. I can't do the maths. What's 6 times 4? 24. Come on, 24. 24. Yeah, there we go. 200.
I've done bad math again.
I know. They would have got $248,000.
Yeah.
No.
$240,000.
No. $252,000. And my math is probably wrong. If my math is wrong here, please
anyway,
give us some feedback. But yeah,
they'd have had a shit ton of money.
They would have got $250,000 in 1872.
Yep.
So I can see completely why they would have done it. Like, if they were not in league with the people on board and they were the ones who did it, you just got to say to your crew and go, right, if we kill these 10 people, throw them overboard, get rid of a life raft and just take the boat back, we're going to be $250,000 richer between us. I would say that's motive.
And there was, I think, was there like eight of them on the other ship? I think there was like 8 of them.
And they probably got paid $1,000 a month. If not, a month, a year.
Yeah, that's
but yeah, so there's but then the thing with these things is that they always say, yes, but we don't know where these people went. They must have been killed because we don't know where they went. That in itself is a bad supposition to make in 1872.
In the sea.
Yeah, but you got just because they're not known to recorded history doesn't mean they're not known to wherever they were. They could have gone to Canada for some reason. I don't know Canada, but then just lived in a town until they died very happily, doing whatever they wanted to do. And no one would ever have a recorded history of them unless you went to that town and looked at their history, because they don't publish their history of everyone who lived in that town on a worldwide database. We go, well, I'm sorry, Benjamin Spooner Briggs, who's the captain, is known to have been in this town. So unless you know where they went.
That's an awesome name. Was his middle name, was that his nickname his wife gave him?
Well, Spooner?
Yeah.
Unfortunately not. Oh, it might have been.
Maybe.
Then again, I don't know. Sarah, her name was.
Sarah. She loved Spooner.
Sarah, her name was. Yes, but and Sophia, the 2-year-old daughter. Like, to be fair, the likelihood is that we know they battled really bad weather for 2 weeks. The ship was fucked.
Yep.
the bilge pump was fucked.
Yep.
They tried to fix it, couldn't fix it. They got in the life raft, fucked off, and probably went down in a storm.
Because they thought they were relatively near some land.
Yeah, and to be fair, they probably were near some land. They probably
Yeah.
saw some land, but you could see land 10 miles off. If a storm hits you, you get blown 100
Yeah.
miles out another way in a little boat.
So in a minute, I'll go over a theory that I read, which seems which is really boring, unfortunately, but like the most likely.
No sea monsters or
the
aliens.
most likely, but so we'll go. Sea monsters was number one.
Uh-huh.
Piracy, that was the second one. That was quite popular.
But unfortunately, the piracy on itself was disproved only for the fact that pirates didn't operate in those waters at that far out where they think they were.
But also, so their load was, all their cargo was denatured alcohol, and it was all there.
Yeah.
Basically, nothing had
But
been.
wasn't it -3
something like
barrels?
that. But the barrels were there; they were just empty. Like they
Yeah.
hadn't taken
because it was a
the
different
physical-
kind of oak, so they think that leaked anyway.
Okay,
So-
so yeah, they hadn't taken anything, and also they hadn't taken any of the clothes, any of the personal belongings,
Yeah.
personal effects that anyone
But
had.
wasn't there was all the prepared food, all the sort of the stored food was
Yeah.
in there, but there was no meals, anything prepared for eating.
Yeah,
So they think that some provisions were taken, but there was still shitloads there. So it was enough provisions that would fit in a life raft.
Yeah, and it's also not the scene that like Christian, like you mentioned at the start, that you have in your head of like dinner places set with food on
It's
the
not
table.
Ghost Ship.
It's not Ghost Ship. I've never seen Ghost Ship.
It's fucking awful.
Is it?
It's a great first
I'll
scene.
continue to not watch it. I'll watch the first scene then. Other than that, we've got theories of aliens, always with the aliens.
Always fucking aliens. I'm sorry, but an alien going up. Why would they take any human being? I mean, granted, the first ship they ever send to Earth and go, all right, these are creatures here. Let's take some creatures.
Yeah.
And they take them back and go, well, they're quite soft and squishy, and we've accidentally killed them.
But also, yeah.
But why would you keep taking them?
And also, why would you go like, oh, there's 10 in a boat that are moving on the ocean, or there's this mass like concentration of them not going anywhere.
Or nowadays, I could understand saying, all right, I'm an alien. I want to come down and take some people. I'm not going to go to a city because they could see me and fire shit at me. I'm going to go to the middle of the ocean where this one thing is they can't do shit. 1872, they could go above New York. No one could do shit.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we'll throw rocks at you. Oh, brilliant. Wankers. I'm sorry, but
Like,
aliens, I get that the likelihood is there is intelligent life elsewhere in the universe. I get that.
Yeah.
I just don't believe they're coming to this planet and taking us and shoving things in our ass.
And if they are, why do they just take rednecks?
What? I just take a fucking scholar. Take Stephen Hawking. Not now. He couldn't do
that'd be
shit now.
weird. Well, they might. Maybe they could
Bring him back.
they could bring him back.
I was going to do an impression. I
No,
realised it's
please
really
don't. Yeah,
insensitive.
please don't. But yeah, they could bring him back, and he would be really useful to them.
Yeah.
Maybe they have. Anyway,
But taking
go
the wrong
off on a
people.
tangent.
Taking
Anyway,
the wrong people.
Pointless.
But yeah, so any kind of alien theories, we're not even going to fucking discuss possibilities because fuck you.
It's
Really.
stupid.
People, if you believe that aliens came down and took people in a fucking life raft and never returned them, you're stupid. Wait, I shouldn't be saying it to our audience.
No, don't say that.
You're not stupid. I love you. You're the greatest people ever. Is that believable?
I think so. I
Good.
think they bought it.
We got away with that.
I love the idea. It's going off on a tangent. On The Simpsons, when the aliens take Homer, and so they off of when he's fishing in the middle of the lake.
Yeah.
And so Marge won't believe him that he got taken by aliens. They cover him in rum and then chuck him back in the boat, so she just thinks he's been drinking.
To be fair, that was if I was an alien.
That's pretty good.
But yeah, so we got aliens discounted, sea monsters discounted, piracy discounted, the Dei Gratia. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, like you said, and it could have been that they happened upon them, and it was a crime of opportunity.
Yeah. To be fair, throughout history, the most logical explanation for a crime is opportunity.
Yeah.
I mean, apart from crimes of passion, that's probably the most logical.
So,
it up. But yeah, so next one.
A theory that I was going to say. So a theory that I read that seemed really logical, kind of boring, unfortunately, is that because the ship had been recently redone and refurbished, I reckon there'd have been like coal dust and tar and dust and everything in the bilge bit of the ship. It would have, which could have clogged up the bilge pump, which would explain why they took the bilge pump apart to try and fix it. Couldn't fix it. It was fucked. It was taken on some water, not a massive amount, but an amount where they're like, well, we're a long way.
Well, we're fucked. We can't
go
make
anywhere.
it there.
So let's just jump on our lifeboat and we'll go to that land over there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really boring.
That's probably exactly what happened.
That's almost, and then they just died at sea.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they didn't die at sea. They could have landed in the land that they saw. It could have been anything, and they could have just went, well, we're stuck here. We'll wait for the next boat from from whatever country we're from to come here. Oh, well, there isn't one. I mean, to be fair, the sailors who were on board could have gone back on another boat and worked as sailors somewhere else.
Absolutely.
Nobody knows their surnames. Back then, you're basically going, oh, there's Dave. Dave works on a boat.
What's his surname?
Yeah.
I don't know, Dave Boat.
Yeah. I love Dave Boat. He's a great guy.
Oh, Jimmy Sales.
Yeah, better than Jimmy Savile.
Yeah.
True crime. So Marie Celeste, I believe that as well. I believe there was no crime involved. I believe it was just bad happenstance.
It just sucked.
Expounded badly by Arthur Conan Doyle, fucking it by doing a short story and making it a whole thing. Like, people would have forgotten about the Marie Celeste if Conan Doyle didn't do it and the film studios didn't get on it.
Yeah, and also if it hadn't been found so quickly.
Yeah,
as well. If it had been found like later and it was an absolute wreck, you'd be like, "Oh, it's a wreck. It's done. Like they just died." But because it presumably was found very close after whatever happened, it looked too good to be true.
And I do love the fact they actually make a mention in when they're talking about what the ship was like when they found it. There was one of the rooms was a mess. A fucking boat that's been at sea for weeks during storms, and it's a mess, and they feel like that's something. What are you doing? You're making a noise over there.
Sorry, I'm taking a paper out. I was trying to do it quietly, but it made loads of noise.
Chris this week has decided to handwrite all his notes.
Handwritten loads of notes.
I have printed all mine out because I am lazy and I can't read my own handwriting. But you look like you're about to read something.
I can't read my own handwriting, but I also don't have a usable laptop until the week after next one. I'm going to buy a new one.
Okay, well, this is you've really ruined the podcast for our fans. Our fan. Hi, Alex. Hi, Rachel. That's two of them. But they're kind of the same
They're basically the same person.
But what was that like? But yeah, so carry on.
So all I was going to say was I was just going to bring this to like a another kind of ghost ship.
Oh, yes.
Mystery, but much more recent, and it's mass. It's 3 people from 2007.
Now, so I don't know this one, so you're telling me this one new. So I'm listening.
It's relevant because it's a ship where 3 people disappeared, but it's also very new, and I think it's just interesting. So the Australian ghost ship mystery. So the 20th of April 2007, a catamaran called the Cas2 was found drifting 88 nautical miles off the coast of northeastern Australia.
Quickly, can I interject?
Yes.
What the fuck is a nautical mile, and how does it differ from a normal mile?
I hope you weren't going to ask because I didn't bother looking it up.
Okay, let's forget what you said this.
Yeah. 88 nautical miles off the coast of northeastern Australia. So it had a 3-man crew. A 3-man crew. All of them had sailed before. None of them were massively experienced, but they also weren't complete novices either.
Yeah.
And they were going off on a journey towards Queensland. Well, the first leg of their journey was off towards Queensland. So one of the guys,
so it's quite a long fucking way.
Yeah, so he just bought his first boat. Not his first boat. He just bought this boat.
Yeah.
And him and his 3 mates who had sailed together. So 15th of April they went off together. The 18th of April, a helicopter spotted the Cas2 adrift near the Great Barrier Reef, and it said the crew were potentially in distress because the way that it was just randomly floating around wasn't under control. So that's only 3 days after they set off. On the 20th of April, so 5 days later, the authorities caught up and described what they saw as strange.
Strange.
Quote, strange. So everything on the ship was normal, much like the Marie Celeste. Everything on the ship was normal. Nothing was really out of place, except for all 3 crew were missing. Food and plates, etc., were set out on the table. A laptop was set up and turned on. The engine was running, so it was a catamaran and it had an engine and it had sails. The GPS and the radio and everything was still working. All the emergency stuff was still in perfect working order. So they just found this ship.
Was there blood?
And no blood, nothing. All of the life jackets was still there. Yeah. Their life jackets were still on board. The anchor was up. And there was a small boat was hoisted up on the stern of the ship. So they got there. No one was there. But everything was in perfect working order, was normal. The only thing was one of the sails was badly shredded. That was the only thing that looked out of place on this ship was one sail was badly shredded.
I was going to ask, was there any storms at sea at that point?
The thing is, by the time they actually got up to the ship, it was 5 days later. If it was in rough waters and
that's what
the
happened.
Sail was up, it just shredded it.
If there was rough seas, that's what did it.
They
100%. It was.
They reckon it was just it was just being out in the ocean and there was no one there to do anything with it.
My thought is you said the laptop was open, still running. So my thought is my luck. I'm on a catamaran. Yep. It's me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be on a fucking catamaran anyway. But say I was, and I was on the computer, and I'm about to go missing, be swept off board, be murdered, whatever the actual eventuality was.
Yeah.
Guaranteed, I'd be looking at a site where
Oh,
people
yeah.
would know that about me from then on and go,
Yeah.
that Christian guy. Oh yeah, well, he went missing. Yeah, but he was looking at some weird shit. So let's forget about it.
Like the whole, like the whole thing with what's his name? You know, the conspiracy American guy,
Alex Jones?
Alex Jones. Did you see when he did one of his big rants a couple of years ago? I think it was, and on his computer there was, or on his phone.
Please tell me it's like fetish porn.
There was
really
a trans porn like tab that was still open, so everyone was like, "Doesn't matter what you say, you're into trans porn," and it's like there's nothing wrong with that.
No, fuck
but
it.
it was up there.
No,
and
the fact is, Alex Jones. Like if anyone looks at trans porn and gets off on it, good fucking on you. If you're Alex Jones, fuck you. That's funny. I'm gonna mock that because of who you are, not because of what it is.
And then he denied it really loudly and came out with things like, "Oh, we all know we get these things on our phones and our things that just open up."
You don't get another tab open up with a thing.
No, you might get like a pop up of an advert for something or whatever. You might get a virus in it, like girls in your area, but like trans porn on like Pornhub or something. That was really funny. Anyway.
Love it. Fucking hate that guy. But yeah, so that's so. What is the popular theory about where they went missing?
Obviously, there was loads of things. It's like the modern day Mary Celeste.
Aliens.
It could be aliens.
Sea monsters?
Could be sea monsters. They looked into it. They looked into everything about it. There is some video they took of themselves on the day they left.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that exists. So they think they may well have they went missing the day they left.
Oh, that fucking sucks.
They made like a day out. Like there was because there's footage of them, and one of them's fishing off the back, or off the ship. And,
sounds like it's gonna go in sea monsters
and stuff like that. It looks like they disappeared on the day they set off, because they left everything exactly as it was, only with the shredded sail. So the state coroner, he ruled out any foul play because there was no, like I said, there was no blood, there was no sign of a struggle, there wasn't stuff everywhere. There was literally nothing.
I love the fact that they actually, coroner will always say no signs of foul play, not because there is, they just say, well, we just don't fucking know. If I can't prove a murder, it's no murder.
No. Yeah. Well, I suppose you kind of have to. But yeah, so the only thing, what they did, they found there was some fishing lure was wrapped around one of the rudders. So the suggestion is
one of the guys fell into the water while
one
fishing?
of the guys, yeah. So off the back of a catamaran, there's often like a platform that's just above water level. They reckon the working theory is he leant over off of that to try and untangle the lure, which is why he didn't have his life jacket on, and because it was a guy and two brothers, and they were like in their 50s and 60s, and he fell in, it was like shit. So his brother went to help him,
and then the other one went
also fell in.
Oh fucking hell!
And then let me sure I've got this right. And fell in. One of them, so the brother went to get him and also fell in. And they reckon the third crew member, who's the guy that owned the boat, went to see what was going on.
And fell in.
And they reckon one of the theories was because I think the boom was like at half, like or something. There was something like one of the things like that he might have been hit. So the boom is the big arm, the sail on the arm that comes around, might have swung around and hit him into the sea. And then they reckon that this is just a working theory that makes sense. And then a gust of wind came and then blew the boat away.
That is 100% what happened. Because it's so dumb.
And they were just like, so one went, oh, I just get this fishing lure off. Oh, I fell in. Oh, no, brother, where are you? Oh, I'll help you. Oh, no, I've fallen in. What's going on? Thump.
And they're the guys, don't do it. Don't. Oh, fuck it. He's down.
Oh, he's fallen in. Oh, that's right, the boat's... And apparently, when you fall in, it's almost impossible to climb back on anyway. And in a gust of wind then would have blown the ship out. And they were just stuck in the middle of it.
And they were probably a mile or two from shore.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And also what I read was none of them were particularly strong swimmers.
This is why I don't go on boats.
Just wear a life jacket.
Yeah.
All
the fucking time.
The reason, and it's really sad because 3 people died, 3 families lost their husband and their father and stuff. But I wanted to raise it because it's a very similar story.
Yeah.
I wish there was a more interesting outcome, but they reckon was they just fell overboard.
But that's what the Marie Celeste is going to be. They got in a
my head.
But they got in a life jacket. They got in a lifeboat because something was up and they got lost at sea. Yeah. That's literally the most dull. Like the whole thing of like Sherlock Holmes is like the Arthur Conan Doyle things of saying if you exhaust all the possibilities, the one left is most likely the actual answer.
Yeah, that's
the Occam's razor.
Occam's razor.
But really, what it should be, and this is my belief.
And then he said that's Razor's Edge, which was Razor Ramon's finishing move.
But no, the answer is the dullest explanation is normally the truth. That's literally what it is. So Chris just looked around because there was a flash of light, and I saw that too. Aliens. There's some aliens.
What was that?
I don't know. I saw a flashlight, and first I thought it was my laptop monitor, but then I realised it wasn't on my screen. They're coming to get us,
I saw
mate.
it come off your face. That was really weird.
You saw someone come off my face?
As opposed to on your face.
Well,
Off,
that's
I
normal.
saw it reflect off your face.
We're just going on about there.
That was very strange. Honestly, that was really weird.
Aliens. But yeah, so the dullest answer is normally the actual thing that happened. Marie Celeste, they got off a boat, fucked off, died. The what's it called? The Australian boat mystery of 2007.
Yeah.
They fell off and got hit by the boom on the face.
One tried to untangle his fishing lure and fell in.
It's a fucking Three Stooges.
His brother went in to help him. Probably, I picture him putting his hand out to help him, and then he whoa, and fell in. The other guy comes out and
another
goes
10 people behind him lined up one by one, something else happening.
The other guy runs and goes, "What's going on?" And as he does it, they're pointing behind him. He looks around, and the boom comes around, thwack.
Well, I mean, basically,
straight. I said thwack because
thwack.
That'd be what's written in like a comic, wouldn't it, or something of it, and then falls in, and then a freak gust of wind comes and then blows him out to sea on the first day.
We're laughing at dead people
on the 15th, the day that they went out. It's just shit luck, innit?
No, it's shit fucking sailing. That's what it is. Just be a bit better. Get a better boat. Don't run a fucking catamaran.
All the Marie Celeste.
All the Marie Celeste.
All the Titanic.
All the Titanic, which wasn't that big, you know. But no, so you got those things like these two things that we talked about. There's lots of facts about the boats themselves.
Yep.
There's obviously video footage of the catamaran. The Marie Celeste has a long history before it, so we know that's 100% true. The next two we're going with, I'm not saying they're bullshit, but I think the mysteries behind them are bullshit. But let's start with the first one. The one that I adore as a supernatural story. Like if I'm watching a film and it's a supernatural story about this subject, I'm always going to forgive how bad it is because I love the idea of a whole town going missing.
I would love for this to be true. I mean, other than the mass loss of life, I would love for this to be true.
Yeah, but but a couple of them, like one of them, which we'll talk about after this one, is so abstract people might not have gone missing. We don't know. But this one, Roanoke. And I don't know whether I like the thing.
Isn't this a TV show that's on like Netflix or Amazon Prime or something? I think there's a show called Roanoke.
I have no fucking idea.
Probably wrong. I've never watched it.
But the thing I love about Roanoke is that ever since, I mean, I'm a horror fan primarily before I was ever a true crime fan, and horror films got me into the true crime thing.
Yeah.
And Roanoke has always been a recurring theme in horror TV series and horror films because of the name Croatoan. Like, until I researched this for this episode, I didn't know the full facts about what it was. All I knew was a town called Roanoke. I thought it was a town called Roanoke. The people in this town went missing, and all that was left was carved in a tree was the word Croatoan, and no one knew what it meant. That's literally what every single film goes on about.
Sorry, Roanoke is the 6th season of American Horror Story.
Yes, and it's a fucking terrible season.
Is it? I haven't watched that one.
Terrible season.
There we go.
But yeah, so that's what I thought it was. Like that's from all films. That's what I presumed it was, because Croatoan was always the mysterious phrase that was written on a tree or whatever the fuck it was written on. And Roanoke was a town, and it turns out all of that is bullshit. Well,
not entirely, but
it was a colony, not a town, which is a big fucking difference.
It was the first attempt at British people to colonize.
It was the first colony.
Yeah, so that's kind of interesting.
Which is why it's if it was the 10th colony, no one would be talking about it to this day, because it was literally because it was the first colony is why it's propagated in American media a lot, because they were the first ones there. But, well, not the first ones there, obviously. There was a tribe. What were they called? The fucking Croatoan tribe, as well as 2 other tribes were on the island.
And just in that area, in fact, it was chock full of fucking people.
Yeah,
and a load of buffalo as well.
A lot of buffalo. But yeah, so Roanoke were the first colony for English going to the settlement in the New World, as they called it, or the Old World, or the World. The world, people there would call it.
As arrogant white people.
Yes,
the New World, August 1587, 117 English settlers arrived off Roanoke Island off the coast of modern-day North Carolina.
I thought they arrived at 1590, but whatever. Let's just go with that.
Maybe it's nautical years versus land years. I don't know.
But yes, basically, Governor John White and a party of sailors waded ashore on Roanoke Island,
North Carolina.
According to White's account of the events,
Also,
they spotted fresh footprints, but met no one.
I reckon John White was a good dude, because that's my surname, and mine also sounds John White.
Really?
I don't think it's the same person.
You just told them what your surname was. They're going to hunt you down.
Oh no,
our fans.
Because Chris and White are both very unique names.
They are.
There is not many people with my name.
It's not. By the way, 1590 is when they actually came back. I got that wrong. They came back in 1590.
It took him 3 years. Apparently, when they were landing, a lot of provisions got spoiled.
John White decided to leave his family, great dude, leave all these people, because he thought he was the only person that could travel back to England, fill up with provisions and come back, and he'd be the saviour of the world.
Yeah, and it'd probably be called Whitetown.
Yeah, it'd be called Whitetown. Oh,
Whiteville.
No.
White.
No.
Is that not
That's
okay?
a bad thing. They're talking about there's indigenous people there. You don't call it Whitetown.
Oh, yeah.
But when they arrived in 1590, according to the Whites' account of the events, they spotted fresh footprints but met no one there. They climbed a sandy bank and encountered a tree, and the letters were carved on there, CRO. This was, as he explained, a prearranged code. If the settlers were to leave the island, they should carve their destination onto a tree or post. Adding a cross would mean they left in an emergency.
Oh, I haven't read any of these little bits. That's good.
Oh, your research is shit.
I know, clearly.
Just Wikipedia it, mate. No, sorry. It's not Wikipedia. Or is it? I don't know. But anyway, they reached the abandoned settlement. The governor spotted a post in which, in capital letters, the whole Croatoan word was written, but it was out across and without any sign of distress.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, because different versions that I read had either one of those things. Some of them will say it was just CRO on a tree, and others say it was Croatoan on a post. So a lot of them say it was one or the other. So
But the post itself was part of a defensive palisade that was thrown up after he left. He didn't know they were going to be there. So obviously the settlement was preparing for, or maybe not preparing for an attack, but preparing for a defense of an attack in case.
Yeah.
Because indigenous people there, they didn't know when they landed whether they would be friendly or not, and they didn't know that the three tribes on the island were at war with each other.
Because I think one of the tribes, at least, maybe the Croatoans, were friendly to them initially,
Yes.
weren't they? They helped them out with finding...
They did. And also, this isn't supposition. They found that the Croatoan tribe, which still has descendants around it, but when they actually went there and found remains, they found that their diet had totally changed.
Oh, that's interesting.
But they were eating instead of eating fish and turtles, which is one thing they were eating. They were eating deer and things, which means that they actually had more weapons, like the guns that the English bought.
Yeah, so the influence of the West could
have been bought there, and also their pottery. Pottery is a big thing when it comes to the remains of where they went. And nowadays, if people are trying to find the lost where they settled, they look for pottery first.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. Yeah, that's really interesting, isn't it?
But yeah, so they the Croatoan thing immediately he thought they had moved to Croatoan Island. Turned out no. But then that's where the mystery was from. It's like, where the fuck did they go? Because it's not like any of the people survived, but they did find the Dare Stone. Now, the Dare Stone is his daughter. Can't fucking remember her name. Virginia Dare. She wrote on this stone. She carved in a stone what happened. That some people died killed by savages, but not really left anything of great importance of like saying where the fuck we are. But she did put at the top of the stone a cross. So the whole thing of putting a cross there to say they left in an emergency, it was on this stone. Since then, there's been other stones. I don't think we should go into
No, I was going to say it's typical of like just humans. Immediately after the first stone was found, something like 50 other stones were
all from the same guy
instantly found.
And this is in the 30s. Now, bear in mind that this was 1590. Now, say 500 odd years later, this one, like they said, we found this stone. If anyone, because the stone alludes to another stone where a tombstone, where all the names of the dead are carved on it. But so then all of a sudden they said, if anyone finds any others, and they let it out there, then this one fucking farmer turns up with this new stone and goes, I've got this one. And they go, here's a reward. And he goes, do you want all the others I've got? And they're like, and it turned out they were fucking like 40 odd, 50 odd of them.
Yeah.
It's like, of course, those were bollocks.
Do you want the text from the first one?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I tried to read it and sat there and went, I do not speak Old English.
No, some of it I can definitely understand. So it says, Ananias Dare and Virginia went hence unto heaven 1591. So Ananias was the daughter's husband.
Mm-hmm.
Virginia was the first English child to be born in the Americas.
Yeah.
That's really interesting, I thought.
Yeah.
Died in 1591. Any Englishman shoe John White governor via, I don't know what it means. On the other side, it explained that all but 7 of the colonists has been killed by savages and was signed EWD. So the first problem with it, though, potential, issue with that is apparently it was very uncommon for people to sign their initials. It wasn't a thing that they did then.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting. On the other side of the stone, apparently it was written. All of this is written in ridiculous old English where they just can't spell the same word, the same word twice. Can't spell the word. Fuck's sake.
Can't speak on a podcast.
Can't speak on the podcast twice. Can't spell the same word the same way twice. So she wrote, "Father, soon after you go for England, we came hither. Only misery and war, something else. Above half dead.
Above half are dead.
Above half are dead. From sickness, being 4 and 20. So 24 would died from sickness. Savage with message of ship onto us. Small space of time after they." Something of revenge ran all away. We believe it, not you. So they came with a story, message of a ship. Savages came. Salvage. The fuck? I've read this before and I thought I understood it. Anyway, they came with a story of ships, and there was no ship, and they
all died.
Yeah. So basically, they died from. They reckon they died. Some of them died from being murdered. Some of them died from disease. All but 7 of them died and moved, and they reckon. I think where the stones were found... It was
down south. It was further inland at the end of a river where there was a map made of the area, which one part of it was sort of blotted out. But when they did some UV testing on it, they found it had the symbol for a fort, which they think that's where the Roanoke
that might have been why they went. And there were stories, wasn't it, where John White said that their plan was to move 50 miles north.
Yeah,
and this would make sense. It was in the right direction, and generally the right distance and stuff. So it made a lot of sense.
The whole mystery behind this, because of the stones, compounded it to make it more like, oh no, it's a lot more mysterious than it actually is. They think they found the stone, and as far as we know, the first stone is real. They've done testing, and they think it's as real as it could be with the testing they've done.
Unfortunately, because they haven't done like isotope testing and stuff like that. But so the problems with the stone is that it was written using like Latin text rather than Gothic text, and apparently in the time only really highly educated people wrote in the Latin text, which is how we write. Whereas she was somewhat educated, where it would be that she would write in the she could write, she was educated, but not.
But one person who could have written the stone, who would have had that, is the father. The father was highly educated.
Yeah,
and
that's the point. I didn't think of that.
But that was one thing I thought of, like going. If he was, because we don't know at the time, we don't know whether he was getting blamed, because he left to get provisions.
Yeah.
But when he went Walter Raleigh had funded the expedition.
Yes.
And the war broke out between Spain and England.
Yeah.
And Walter put all his money into the war effort.
Yeah, all the ships had to be used to defend against the Spanish Armada.
Yeah, so it took 3 years for him to even come back.
Yeah.
But then when he actually came back, and then it was all found and everything happened, Walter Raleigh was arrested after the Queen died, and he was arrested for treason. And then as soon as he was arrested for treason for his plot against King James, was it King James or King Edward? I can't remember. Whatever king came afterwards. He was arrested for that. They didn't do any search into any of the colonies because they didn't give a fuck. They were going, that's Raleigh's other stuff. Yeah. We're just dealing with this. So the only evidence we've got about this is what John White has said, and from the theories behind that, there wasn't actually huge investigations into it at the time.
No. So I was going to say, but the positives for the stone is the fact that when they looked at the stone and they cut the end of it off in modern times, it was very white inside. And the engravings are very, very faded. Yeah. So we're saying at the time it would have been bright. The engraving of the text would be bright white. It would really stick out and be easy to see. It would make sense to engrave onto that material. And in the 30s, it would have been not impossible, but very difficult to get the chemicals that were needed to falsify that.
And it was also cut with the tools that she would have used at the time. Whereas the later stones, they have figured out it was used the drill. They used the drill press to do it, because you can see the round marks on some of the letters. Whereas that one has blowout marks from chisels and things like whatever the implement you would use was. So they think that one's real.
I really hope it's real. I really wanted to test it properly.
There is the tribe, the remnants of the Croatoan tribe. Live to this day, some of them. They have pictures of them, and one of the people they have as one of the people in their I think the great-great-grandmother of this woman who's being interviewed from the tribe, said that Virginia Dare was her great-great-grandmother. And she basically, her story was all the men of age were killed. And the women and children and people who wanted to join were inducted into the tribe, and we learn off them, and they learn off us, and they became part of the tribe.
Yeah.
And nobody would have known, because of how Inuit culture and things like that has
Inuit. Why do you Inuit?
But yeah, so
the Native American.
But the Native American tribes, because of how white America treated them back in the day, of like, completely like not giving a fuck about their history and just wiping them out.
Yeah.
If there was actually inclusion back then and all their history was recorded and all that, this I don't think would have been.
No,
a
you
thing.
would. Yeah, you would.
You'd say and go, all right, Virginia Dare became part of the tribe. Okay, cool, and it would be like, oh yeah, she moved there, but because of the birth of America and the mass murder that happened on behalf of white America, killed everything and killed every trace of realistic history about this. Mystery.
Because there's a lot of this is like, I don't know, the ridiculous like statistic for the amount of people, amount of Americans who would go back generations who are part Native American, they have African American in their blood. It's not unusual for them to have procreated, reproduced. So I think it seems fairly. The mystery's cool. That's really interesting.
Yeah,
like, I love the mystery of it. But it feels like probably what happened was a shitload of people died. Loads died of disease.
Yeah, which is, to be fair, standard.
Yep, a lot of them probably got killed.
Mm-hmm.
It's fairly standard. They probably killed each other as well as being killed by the locals.
I think,
and then some probably fucked off and left and assimilated with local tribes and had babies and just it was a big old country.
But I think it just didn't help because, like you said, you didn't know about it and you did research about this. The fact that the Croatoan was supposed to be the message and it was the thing that they've agreed on. For most people, that is the mystery, going, why is that word written on there? What does it mean?
Yeah. No,
it's like, it's the name of a tribe and the name of... Basically, it was saying, not that we've gone to the Croatoan island, but we've gone with the tribe. And it's not an emergency.
Yeah, we just left. It's fine.
We just left. It's fine. Here where we are. You might find us.
Yeah.
Follow the tribe. But at the time when she wrote would have carved the stone, she wouldn't have known when he would have got back. So she left it, granted miles away, but she was leaving it in case he found it.
Well, yeah, she's gone potentially to an area where they'd already said where she knew that they'd discussed where they were going to go, where they knew they were going to be heading to, and left it there thinking he's going to head this way, and this is a black stone with a bright white interior on the way.
So he would find it. I mean, I love the fact that the farmer that made the others, tried to write in Old English as well, but the problem is he actually did research and spell every single word exactly as it should be, whereas the traditional thing, like with the first word, she doesn't spell words right and they're not spelt the same word to word. Like, so if she has to use the same word twice, it's probably spelt differently.
Yeah.
Because that was how they wrote.
Yeah, spelling wasn't standard.
Whereas this guy did it with the drill press. Fair enough, he didn't know people would be able to find out it's a drill press, but was spelling everything 100%. I just saw the flash again.
All right.
I think it's my laptop.
It's your laptop then.
Think so. Hope it's still recording. Gonna have to check this.
Oh god.
No, it's still recording apparently.
Okay, good.
But yeah, so that brings us. So
Roanoke,
I would say not a mystery.
No.
All right, we don't know exactly what happened, but the likelihood
it's a mystery in as much as we don't know what happened, but it's not a mystery. It's not like a great supernatural mystery.
No, and I think the only crime involved in this is people fighting each other and maybe
Europeans fucking up the natives.
Basically, that's it. And natives taking revenge, or natives battling people who they didn't know who the fuck they were on their land. I mean, fine. I mean, it's a pity people died. The mystery is all well and good, but
white man came across the sea, brought us pain and misery.
Anyway, the next one.
Did they run to the hills?
No.
Did they run for their lives?
They ran for their lives probably, but then she managed to carve a stone while doing it, which takes a fucking long time. How many stones did she try and carve? Fuck up and go, it's bullshit. I mean, even when I try and write 3 words on a piece of paper, I probably have to throw it out 3 or 4 times and go, well, that's a shit.
See my notes. They're almost indecipherable. They look like hieroglyphs.
Nice. Bring us on to our last topic for this one, which is the shortest one of them. But to be fair, if there was more evidence about this, I would find this the most interesting.
I found this the most interesting until I tried to research it.
Yeah, and you sit and go, fucking what? But it's
it is interesting, but
the Brazilian town of Verde.
Yeah, something green.
I'm just saying that. In 1923, more than 600 people vanished from the village of Verde in Brazil, and still to this day, there is no explanation for the mystery.
No explanation.
That's what's written down and thing. Basically, travellers cut through the town back in 1923, and we're expecting to see, a town. But what they found was all the well-built homes. They were all abandoned. There was no sign of ambush or kidnapping or anything. Just creepily, on a school blackboard, they had a school there, so it was a proper town. They had the words, "There is no salvation," written in chalk. Why the place everything said like it was on a blackboard and it was written in chalk? Of course it was fucking written in chalk. They're not going to write it in biro on a blackboard. It's like trying to make it more creepy, going, it's written in chalk. Woo!
Of course it was.
It was written in chalk. But basically, then a manhunt began for the villagers, and one popular theory was that villagers fled due to the political climate in Brazil, and they feared conflict with the local guerrillas. Not guerrillas, but more like, I'm going to shoot you in the face, guerrillas.
Oh, right. GUE rather
freedom
than
fighters, as some people would say.
Well, it depends, doesn't it?
I know.
My freedom fighter is your terrorist or something.
But despite the theory being believable and all that, nobody can understand how 600 people could not be found either inhabiting somewhere else or mass graves being found, because apparently around that area there are no mass graves. But this, I'll couch this with conspiracy theorists say alien abduction.
Obviously.
Yeah, but that's really it. There are bits more of information of sort of because of what happened afterwards.
Yep.
But that's it. It's not like they say, well, here's a list of 600 people who went missing. Oh, there's 600 people. All right, where's the evidence it was 600?
Yeah, who are these people?
There is not enough. Granted, we're looking online, which is bullshit.
Yeah, I went looking for a. So even for the previous ones, for the Mary Celeste, for Roanoke, there's National Geographic have got articles on them, like History Channel, whatever that is. But BBC. There's loads of legitimate sources. There's references for this one. Yeah, I fully expected there to be, and when I started looking at it, I realised I was looking at they were just self kind of referential. They were just referencing, or it was like circular references. It was just referencing the same story.
Yeah, and it's always referencing things, but without, and everyone ends up going, but we haven't got much evidence, or there's no evidence about this, there's no evidence about that.
And what year did it happen again?
1923, so there should have been. I mean, it was Brazil. There was political uprising at the time. Whether the even town existed, I don't know.
That's what I can't find. I was trying to find at least evidence that the town was a real place.
But they say, unlike other villages of 600, no one was. There was, when people walked up, there was. This is the thing, the fact that there's so little websites and they rely on alliteration for this. They were walking the streets. They were struck by how dead everything was. Wind gently creaked noisily and juxtaposed with the uneasy footsteps of those searching for the villagers. For fuck's sake, you're on one website, just say, couldn't find shit.
Not alliteration, though.
Well, I don't fucking know. What is it?
Alliteration is when you have two words that start with the same, isn't it?
Fuckface.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
There's alliteration for you. See, I don't know English well. Good. But so apparently...
prick.
Hey! But apparently, police were called.
Sorry.
Investigators descended on the town to look through the village. They found a gun, which they took to be forensically examined, and nothing came of it. There is no salvation was written on the board. Fine. They said a manhunt ensued for the 600 villagers, but no trace of any locals were ever unearthed. And to this date, it's considered an unsolved mystery. As newspapers' reports of the town's disappearance reached the West, it was considered more of a curiosity. But with the shifting political climate in Brazil, and it being in 1923, it was considered possible that the town was just evacuated to avoid any kind of warfare or anything like that. So the people of the town went, fuck, this is getting bad. Should we move down south?
Yeah, I love the idea that it came to the West as a news story. Yeah, and they just found it a curiosity.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't Europeans.
Yeah, but every time you mention these kind of places and you go, the village of Verde, it had a schoolhouse and things like that, you picture the American towns, which have a schoolhouse, like Silent Hill kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
But realistically, 1923, Brazil, it wasn't the same kind of town.
No. Yeah, it would have been kind of...
Yeah, it's not going to be mud huts or anything, but it's going to be a very impoverished town. And it's going to be something, a kind of town where the 600 inhabitants, if they did exist, could have gone up and said, we're going to go somewhere else. And we're going, all right. And
then someone also just on the way out went, this would be funny. No salvation. I'd definitely do that.
But I'm going to read this out because this, I don't know, the thing I found, it said, another mysterious element is the original language of the phrase, there is no salvation. Though the phrase is largely translated into English, the phrase holds little significance in Portuguese. However, if the words had been, and I'm not going to read it in Latin, or a variation of it, it could have been related to the phrase, the Catholic meaning, outside the church there is no salvation. And that would have made sense because it's a very Catholic village, apparently.
Well, the Portuguese are very Catholic in general. So
but it wasn't.
That would make sense.
But many references to the story exist, but most are derived from a simple article translated from Russian.
It's those Russian bots.
It's like the whole thing of most of this story and the facts we get from it are from a Russian article.
I didn't know. That's really interesting. I could never find an original source.
No,
that
and
seems to be like the earliest thing.
But that's why when they say there is no salvation was written on the board. Okay, fair enough. But because it wasn't written correctly, as like what it would be for that time, like outside the churches and stuff.
Yeah, they would have written it in Latin or in Portuguese.
Which would have made sense it being in a school, like because you would be teaching that.
Yes,
but
but it would have been the.
But it could have been just a translation from if the Russian article was true, it could have just been a bad translation.
Yeah.
But at the same point, why would Russia be the only people actually writing things about this that we take our facts from? So realistically, the only thing we can take as fact, and the only thing I can find as fact, is that people believe a town went missing.
You think people were
bullshit
rushing to conclusions?
God, no. I don't know if I can do this podcast anymore. But yeah, so the whole
so
thing...
I think for that one, I think there's in my mind there's three possible solutions. Or
sea
whatever.
monsters, aliens, and let's say Inuits.
I mean, I've got three different ones. But,
Okay,
you know,
go for it.
There's no bad.
There is.
There's no such thing as a bad question.
Oh, there fucking is.
So we think probably either A, they upped and left because it was,
which I think is
it was
likely.
getting really iffy there.
Yeah.
B, it was a mass execution or a mixture of both. A load of people left because of organised crime came and killed everyone. Or C, bullshit.
Mm-hmm. I actually think it's a mixture of all three. I think that probably the town existed, probably people went missing, but I think the whole thing of like there was nothing in the streets, everything was in its place. No, bullshit. People came, invaded the place, and got them out.
And
the
also,
government suppressed the information and controlled the story.
Yeah, quite possibly. And it might not have been 600 people.
It might have been 2 people. There might have been 2 people living in a bog. One of them was called Hoer, one of them was called Verde.
One of the stories that I was going to share, and I chose not to because it was disproved when I looked into it, was Eskimo...
Inuits?
That's what
oh my God.
Yeah, there's an Eskimo settlement where and fur trappers would come and they would stop there and stuff. And the original telling of the story was that it was 25 people and like 3 huts, and it turned into I think 2,000 people and aliens. That's how it developed.
Oh, that's a big difference. That's not that.
No, it moved a lot, and also I'm not going to go into it. So many things wrong, but
But I think that's the problem with, like, especially nowadays, mass disappearances can't really happen in the Western world with lots of media. It can happen in other countries where state-controlled places.
Absolutely.
Or even, to be fair, it can happen. I say this like, it couldn't happen here. Yeah, if the government wanted to make the town of Worthing disappear, it could quite easily fucking do it and control the flow of information out, and it would become an urban legend. I mean, yeah, governments can do what they want.
Or a suburban legend.
A suburb. Ooh. Most of the mysteries that we have in the world that are things like this, they're cover stories that have become urban legends that have developed on from that. And the actual truth is dull.
If they're not made up,
they're
they're controlled.
I think it's a fuckload of fun. People are taking this mythos and really utilizing it to a fun way. They're actually making it a story. But the problem is when you take a established mystery and propagate it through the media and make a film of it, people believe the bullshit and the bits that you've made for entertainment up more than anything. Like, most people don't realize, especially speaking from as English people, in America it's a bit different. Like, Roanoke is called the first colony. In here, we had to look it up and find out. We knew the town of Roanoke.
I was vaguely aware of it.
I didn't know it's the first one. I was like, well, there's just one town. But the media has propagated it, so it plays no importance for us to know it's the first colony. It's just a town that goes missing, not a colony, which is different. It's not like a town you go into where the brick buildings are all empty and
No, these people came from England and tried to set up a tiny settlement made of like wood and wattle and door probably stuff. No, we wouldn't take us.
I would turn up to a fucking an island and go, well, I don't even know how to build a house. I don't know how to put up a tent.
No.
I don't know how to take care of myself. I'm ridiculous.
If it was sunny, I would sit on the beach with a book.
But then it would rain. I'd be fucked.
I'd
use the book to hide under it, and then I'd ruin the book. It's like, I don't think ahead.
Now I've got nothing else.
Yeah,
I've got nothing to read or for shelter. If we ever become like popular with this thing,
but
if we did, we could do more episodes on this separate to our true crime thing. We could go into like mystery stuff and have like a side.
And if we got really good
articles,
we could go to these places.
We could go to these places and live podcasts, and they could be on Patreon, and people could pay money.
Yeah, no.
To help us.
We're not that good.
Do extra stuff.
We're not that good. We're not funny. We're not comedians.
That'd be great. I'd love to do that.
I know.
Maybe one day.
The thing is,
I think we're just going to have to let other people do it.
The most popular crime sort of podcasts out there, they're either very funny people, very intelligent people, or have some kind of sex appeal.
Yeah,
we don't have any of
those things.
We're just hairy, bald guys bullshitting into a microphone, pretending we know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Trying to sound intelligent, but saying the word Inuit at the wrong place.
We're bringing what we are in real life
To you.
to you.
We're basically
Whether you
the
want
truth.
to or not.
Everyone else is basically just all pretense. And we're the honest truth.
Yeah, we're impossible to be around in real life.
I know. Make podcasts great again. That's our thing. Empiga.
Umpiga. Okay, there's merch idea.
I know, but yeah, so that brings us to the end of this. We don't really have a final thought apart from most disappearances are bullshit or lies.
But fun.
Fun
To read about. You know what? This was way less depressing than researching Levi Belfield.
Oh, wait till we get to the next ones. Fucking hell. Now we've got some of the plans episodes we've got coming up. We're gonna have to get so drunk beforehand, and there might be an hour's break in between recording while we hug each other and cry because it's just so depressing.
Yeah, and then in the coming weeks it could get heavy.
Yeah. Well, thank you for tuning in.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading, streaming.
I would say leave a feedback, leave a star, ratings.
We'd love
give
5
us
stars
stuff.
and a review. That'd be wonderful.
By the way, I don't actually is it iTunes?
I think iTunes they do reviews. I don't use iTunes. Yeah, iTunes.
Oh, right,
Let's say iTunes.
I know we've got 1 5-star review on there.
Thanks, Craig.
Yeah, we know. Thank you. We don't know.
Oh, sorry, he doesn't know.
We don't know who he is. Thank you, whoever you are, mysterious listener. And we're going to go on to do our next episode now. But you're not going to hear it for a couple of weeks.
So
have fun.
We are available everywhere. Echo on Pod.
Yes,
that's really important to mention. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, echoonpod.com. Echoonpod.com, our website.
It's got our contact details if you want to send us a really abusive message, anything like that, please do.
Or ideas.
Oh, I don't know why I went straight to abusive message.
I don't know. So I've been Chris.
I've been Christian.
This has been Echo On.
Yay!
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.